This is the $14.95 build I did a while ago, looking a little bit unkept here, to be honest. A video for that will be linked in the video description below. Today, I'm going to be pairing this with a GTX 1080, a powerful graphics card that I really hope isn't going to catch on fire in this machine. Now I'm going to take the GTX 1080 from the PC down here, and I'm going to put it into this machine over here. Now, first of all, a GTX 1080 is not actually going to fit in this case at all, so I'm going to have to actually unbuild the machine from this case and just run it on the desktop. And another thing is I'm actually going to be running the power supply that's in there, that RM850X, because the power supply in this machine is a 300 watt unit that looks like it was found at the bottom of a well in Afghanistan. So I don't really want to put my GTX 1080 through that. Yeah, so it's not going to be the entire $15 build, but it's more or less the same thing. Okay, so let's turn this guy on its side and get the actual PC out. Super heavy case. Sounded painful. First things first, let's unplug all of the things. Not that there's a huge amount to unplug, considering that, well, the graphics card doesn't have a power pin, and neither does the CPU does, actually. And I think it's about time we get the GT210 a new home. Hopefully a dustbin, to be honest. And now it's time to supplant the GTX 1080 from its home and put it in the machine over here, and then we can see what happens. I mean, here you can just really see how huge the 1080 is in comparison to this tiny motherboard. It really is pretty funny looking. And I mean, from the back you can really see how far the graphics card actually hangs over the edge of the motherboard. It's pretty ridiculous. And to be fair, that tiny CPU cooler doesn't help the hardware dwarfism much with that huge GTX 1080 that's almost a triple slot card. Okay, so we have a teeny bit of a problem in that the graphics card, oh, let me just find focus here, wrong direction, is actually overhanging the like front power on and reset controls. So I don't really know how I'm gonna jump start the GPU or just the PC. So I'm gonna have to kind of jab a screwdriver in there and see what I can figure out. Okay, so let's see if I can actually find the right pins. This feels super dangerous. Wait, it might help if the power supply is on, yes. Okay, let's try again. Oh, there we go. That was terrifying, but it's on. And it's booting. That's exciting. I have to say, there is a fairly alarming sound coming from the hard drive, but it is the hard drive, so yeah, hopefully that's not gonna destroy something. This genuinely is the noisiest hard drive ever. Here is a quick look at the specs that it's running. 2 whole gig of RAM, which means that the GPU actually has 4 times as much memory as the actual PC has, and yeah, E7400 at 2.8 gigahertz. We install some drivers for the 1080 on the PC so that we can see how it performs. Now, one of the problems with actually doing benchmarks for this machine is going to be the fact that the hard drive is only 80 gig, which is a little bit of a limitation. Because I'm only going to be able to download like a game at a time. So as you see, there are 74 gig actually that you can use. So yeah, at least I have gigabit internet, so that kind of helps the process a bit. So it's not going to take very long, it's still just a massive pain. So it's actually been downloading for ages, which I wasn't anticipating, but it's because, yeah, I think like maybe the network card in the PC or in the motherboard just isn't handling all of the bandwidth. But yes, so Rise of the Tomb Raider is actually finished downloading, and let's see if it actually works on this PC. So I mean, I wanted to install Doom first because I thought that maybe it's somehow less intensive CPU wise, but there isn't actually enough space in the hard drive for Doom. So like with the drivers and stuff installed, I still need another 10 gig. Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to test Doom on the machine. Now all of the testing I am going to be doing at 1080p because, well, that's where especially CPU-bound bottlenecks will be the most evident. Oh, it's launching, or at least it's potentially trying to launch. Okay, so it's actually gone beyond just a blank screen now and is now on the like advertisers page bit thing. That at least means we're making some progress. It has taken basically my entire life just to get to this point. Okay, we're getting somewhere. The actual menu items haven't loaded yet, but there's a thing. Oh, there we go. Oh wow. It's kind of running. Oh, there we go. Some things loaded. There's some animation happening. Okay, let's see if a benchmark works. Oh, this is probably going to take... I shouldn't have done that. This is probably going to take the rest of my life to load. I honestly think at this point with this system, the biggest bottleneck in the system is actually going to be the RAM and hard drive. I think at this point there just isn't enough storage available, or there just isn't enough memory available for things to run properly. So yeah, this has been running for a couple minutes now. Okay, well here we go. It's loaded. It's struggling a little bit, if I'm honest. But it's actually kind of running. Okay, it's pretty much unplayable though, to be honest. So it seems as though CPU bottlenecks might be a genuine thing. Not that anybody was really unsure about that. Because actually, interestingly, if you look at the actual GPU, the fans aren't even spinning. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but the fans aren't even spinning. Which shows you that, like, it's... The graphics card, there we go, there's some light. The graphics card is essentially not doing anything because it's just waiting for the rest of the system. Okay, so we've gotten to, well, this bit. I can't remember what it's called, but this is abysmal. Like, it's basically not, it's not running. Let's see if another frame is generated. What are we, like 4 frames in at this point? Are we gonna see another one? Is this it? Oh, there we go. There was another one. Might have been 2. But yeah, so like again, if you look at the GPU, it's just like we're on the desktop. Oh wait, there's some more action happening. Oh, I just missed it. But there was oh, look at it. Wow, this is practically 60 frames per second that we're getting here now. Okay, so something's happening because look at that! They're spinning! They're actually spinning up and then they kind of stop for some reason. We're in the load screen, so it doesn't make a huge amount of sense as to why they're spinning up now as opposed to, well, when the actual game is running. I think these are probably the most spectacular benchmark results I've ever gotten on a machine. Overall score is 5.18 frames per second. I don't think that's the average though, because to be honest, that's not what I was seeing. Here we have a minimum of 0.11 frames per second. Here Here we have 0.04 as a minimum. Okay, so it actually seems to run Counter-Strike fairly decently. I'm getting about 60 frames per second. Okay, well, it's dipped down to 30 at this point. Actually, yeah, I mean, I'm not even getting a stable 60 frames per second on 1080p Counter-Strike with a GTX 1080. That's that's pretty intense, to be honest. The Fire-Strike score is actually pretty ridiculous. I only got 6,465, which is only better than 37% of all other results with a GTX 1080 in the PC. That's completely insane. Because if you look here at the gaming PC kind of minimum VR spec with like an i5 4590 and a GTX 970 in it, performs significantly better, like 3,000 points higher. I really am. I can't believe how crippled this PC is by the CPU. I mean, I realized it was going to be bad, but I didn't realize it was going to be this bad. This is probably the worst result ever recorded on a 3D Mark Fire-Strike with a GTX 1080 and a PC. And this is going to be a display of ultimate power, the Core 2 Duo E7400 running Cinebench, with its 2 cores running at 2.8 GHz. So this is a couple of minutes later, to say the least, and it's, well, still running. It really is taking its time. That is a spectacular score of 147 points. And with that, it's clear that this PC just isn't enough to handle the GTX 1080. The paltry little CPU just couldn't keep up, can't give enough instructions quickly enough, and there just isn't enough RAM. Not that this is at all a surprise, to be honest, but if you're planning on getting an E7400 to power your GTX 1080, I think you should reconsider. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, bye bye.